Commander Jin Woo stepped off the transport ship and looked around Harmony Station. The massive space station floated in empty space between three star systems. It was built for one purpose: peace talks between different alien races. Today, it would host the most important meeting in human history. Jin Woo wore his best diplomatic uniform, but underneath, he was still a soldier. His sharp eyes scanned the docking bay, noting the security cameras and guard positions. Old habits were hard to break, especially when he knew this meeting might decide whether humanity lived free or became slaves to alien masters. Ambassador. So Ra walked beside him, her face calm and peaceful. She had been doing this job for 20 years, talking to aliens and making deals. Her gray hair was pulled back in a simple style, and she carried herself with quiet dignity. Behind them came Captain Tae-ho, leading a team of 6 human guards. Tae-ho's hand never moved far from his weapon, even though weapons were supposedly banned in the peace talks. The main conference hall was huge. A circular table sat in the center, surrounded by different types of chairs made for different alien body shapes. Humans got simple chairs like they used on Earth. The message was clear. Humans were the least important species here. 12 different alien races had sent representatives. The Valdari sat in tall, throne-like seats that made them look even more important than they already thought they were. Their leader, High Chancellor Vexinar, had ruled their empire for over 300 years. His blue skin was marked with silver patterns that showed his high rank. When he looked at the humans, his eyes showed only cold dislike. The Thexian Union had sent their best trade negotiator, a creature called Mordek, who looked like a giant spider made of metal and flesh. The Thexians controlled most of the galaxies, shipping routes, and trade networks. If they decided to stop trading with humans, Earth's colonies would run out of supplies within months. Other species filled the remaining seats. The warlike Krex Empire sent General Haktor, whose red scales and sharp teeth made him look like a walking nightmare. The Scientific Helix Consortium brought Dr. Yilnash, whose 4 arms could work on different problems at the same time. Each group had their own reasons for being here, but they all agreed on one thing: humans were becoming too dangerous to ignore. Jin Woo took his seat and activated his translation device. The small machine would turn alien languages into Korean, and his words into whatever language the aliens needed to hear. It was human technology, but based on alien designs. Like most human tech, it was a copy of something aliens had made first. Hi. Chancellor Vexinar stood up, his tall frame casting a shadow across the table. His voice was deep and commanding when he spoke. "We gather today to discuss the human expansion problem," he said. "In just 200 years, humans have spread to over 40 star systems. They build colonies faster than any other race in galactic history. They copy our technology and somehow make it work better than the original designs. This cannot continue." Ambassador, So-Ra remained calm, but Jin Woo saw her hand tighten slightly on her datapad. She had expected this direct attack, but it still stung to hear it spoken so bluntly. Mordek clicked his metal mandibles together, a sign of agreement among Thexians. "The humans take our trade routes," he said in his clicking voice. "They offer better prices and faster delivery. Our merchants are losing profits across 12 sectors. They use our own shipping technology against us." Dr. Yilnash moved 2 of her 4 arms in a complex gesture. "From a scientific viewpoint, human adaptation speed is unprecedented," she said. "They learn our mathematics in months, not decades. They improve our engineering designs before we finish explaining how they work. It defies all known patterns of species development." Jin Woo listened to each accusation, keeping his face neutral. These aliens were afraid, and fear made people dangerous. They had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years, treating younger races like children who needed guidance. Humans had upset that comfortable order by learning too fast and growing too quickly. Captain Tae-ho shifted slightly in his chair behind Jin Woo. The captain's trained eyes were watching the alien guards, noting their positions and weapons. Something felt wrong about this meeting, but he could not put his finger on what it was. General Haktor slammed his clawed fist on the table, making several smaller aliens jump. "Enough talk," he growled. "Humans are a threat to galactic stability. They must be controlled before they become too strong to stop." High Chancellor Vexanar nodded slowly. "We have prepared a solution," he said. He activated a holographic display above the table. A map of human space appeared, showing all 43 colonies and trade routes. "Humans will accept these new boundaries," Vexanar continued, pointing to a much smaller area on the map. "Expansion beyond these limits is forbidden. All human colonies outside these zones must be abandoned within 1 galactic standard year." The map showed humans losing more than half their territory. Millions of colonists would have to leave their homes and return to overcrowded core worlds. Furthermore, Mordek added, all human technology development must be supervised by Galactic Confederation scientists. No new ship designs, weapons, or industrial processes may be created without approval. Dr. Yilnash gestured with all 4 arms. Humans will also share all technological improvements with the Confederation. This includes any modifications to existing alien designs. Ambassador Sora finally spoke, her voice steady and calm. "And if humanity refuses these terms?" The silence that followed was heavy with threat. General Haktor's scales changed color to a darker red, a sign of aggression in his species. The other aliens shifted in their seats, but none of them looked away from the humans. High Chancellor Vexinar smiled, showing teeth that were too sharp for comfort. "Then the Galactic Confederation will be forced to take action to protect galactic peace and stability," he said. "Economic sanctions first. If that fails, military intervention may be necessary." Jinwoo felt his jaw tighten but kept his expression neutral. These were not peace talks. This was a surrender demand delivered with pretty words and diplomatic language. The aliens had decided that humans were too dangerous to remain free, so they would cage humanity like a wild animal. Captain Tae-ho's hand moved closer to his sidearm. He had served in 3 colonial wars and knew the smell of violence before it started. The alien guards were tense, ready for trouble. This whole meeting was a setup designed to force humans into submission or create an excuse for war. Ambassador Sora looked at each alien representative in turn. Her calm expression never changed, but Jinwoo knew she was thinking fast. 20 years of diplomatic experience told her this was not a negotiation. It was an ultimatum. "These are significant proposals," she said finally. "Humanity will need time to consider such far-reaching changes to our society and expansion plans." High Chancellor Vexinar's smile became even more unpleasant. "Of course. We are reasonable beings. You have 48 standard hours to provide your answer." Jin Woo stood up along with Ambassador So-Ra. "We appreciate the Confederation's patience," he said, his voice giving away nothing. "We will use this time wisely." As the humans filed out of the conference hall, Jinwoo's mind was already racing. 48 hours was not much time, but it might be enough. Earth needed to know what was happening here, and plans that had been prepared for years might finally need to be put into action. The aliens thought they held all the cards, but they were about to learn something important about humans. When backed into a corner, humans did not surrender. They fought back, and they fought dirty when they had to. The next 48 hours would change everything. The secure communication room on Harmony Station was smaller than a closet, but it contained the most advanced encryption technology humans had ever built. Jin Woo sat in front of the quantum transmitter, waiting for the connection to Earth. The device hummed softly as it locked onto signals that traveled faster than light through folded space. "Ambassador." Sora stood beside him, her face showing the first signs of worry since the meeting began. Captain Tae-ho guarded the door, making sure no alien listening devices could pick up their conversation. The room was shielded, but Tae-ho trusted nothing when it came to alien technology. The screen flickered, then showed the familiar face of Admiral Yeon-ji. She was aboard the command ship somewhere in deep space, her location hidden even from the diplomatic team. Her short black hair was streaked with gray, and her eyes held the hard look of someone who had seen too many battles. "Report," Admiral Yeon-ji said simply. Jin-woo quickly explained the alien demands. As he spoke, Admiral Yeon-ji's expression grew darker. When he finished, she was quiet for several seconds. "So they finally made their move," she said. "We knew this day would come." Another face appeared on the screen. Dr. Hyun-sik, calling from the research vessel Prometheus hidden, in an asteroid field 3 systems away. His lab coat was wrinkled from long hours of work, and his eyes were bright with the excitement of discovery. "The new jump drives are ready," Dr. Hyun-sik reported. "We can move the entire fleet without using the standard jump gates. The aliens will never see us coming." Ambassador. So Ra leaned forward. "How many ships do we have in position?" A third face joined the call. Engineer Do-yun, speaking from a construction facility that officially did not exist. His hands were covered in grease from working on ship engines, but his smile was confident. 237 ships are fully operational," Do-yun reported. "Each one is equipped with the new stealth systems and adaptive shields. The aliens think we have maybe 50 ships total. They have no idea what we've really built." Jin-woo felt a moment of pride mixed with sadness. For 5 years, humans had been preparing for this confrontation while pretending to follow alien rules. Thousands of engineers, scientists, and workers had built a secret fleet using mining operations as cover. Asteroid belts became shipyards, and research stations became weapons factories. Admiral Yeon-ji activated a star map that showed the real situation. Red dots marked alien fleet positions, while blue dots showed human forces. The aliens had 300 ships spread across their territory, confident that humans could not challenge them. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "The aliens made one big mistake," Admiral Yeon-ji explained. "They thought humans would keep fighting the same way we always have, but we learned from every defeat, every loss, every mistake they forced us to make." Dr. Hyun-sik nodded eagerly. "The quantum entanglement network is working perfectly. Every human ship can talk to every other ship instantly, no matter how far apart they are. The aliens still use radio signals that take hours to cross a star system." Do-yun pulled up technical drawings on his screen. "The new engines use principles the aliens never discovered. They're still using fusion drives that we copied from them 50 years ago. Our antimatter cores can push ships twice as fast as anything in their fleets." Ambassador Sora studied the displays, her diplomatic mind working through possibilities. "What about the colonies? Can we protect them all?" "Better than that," Admiral Yeon-ji replied. "We can make the aliens think twice about attacking any human world ever again." The screen split to show a dozen different locations. Human colonies that looked peaceful and defenseless were actually armed fortresses. Cargo ships were revealed to be disguised warships. Mining stations could deploy weapon platforms in minutes. Captain Tae-ho whistled softly. Even he had not known the full scope of the preparations. "How did we keep this secret from alien intelligence services?" Dr. Hyun-sik grinned. "We use their own arrogance against them. They think humans are too young and stupid to build anything they cannot understand. So we made sure everything looked like simple copies of their technology from the outside." Do-yun activated another display. "Every human ship has 2 sets of engines, 2 sets of weapons, 2 sets of shields. The aliens can scan the outer systems, all they want. They'll see exactly what they expect to see, inferior copies of their own designs. But underneath," Admiral Yeon-ji continued, "we built something completely new. Human engineering principles applied to problems the aliens never thought to solve. The screen showed comparison charts between alien and human technology. On paper, alien ships were bigger, stronger, and more heavily armed, but human ships were faster, more maneuverable, and could coordinate their actions in ways alien commanders had never seen. Jinwoo leaned back in his chair, amazed by what his species had accomplished in secret. How long have we been planning this? Since the Kepler incident, Admiral Yeonji replied. 20 years ago, when the aliens destroyed our first deep space colony for unauthorized expansion. We decided that day that humans would never again be helpless against alien threats. Ambassador So-Ra remembered the Kepler incident well. 15,000 human colonists had died when alien warships bombarded their settlements from orbit. The official report said it was a tragic misunderstanding, but everyone knew the truth. The aliens had wanted to send a message about who really controlled the galaxy. Dr. Hyun-sik pulled up another technical display. We also solved the alien AI problem. Their computer systems are centuries old and designed for single-species use. Our new tactical AIs can hack their networks and turn their own weapons against them. The beauty of it, Do-Yun added, is that we don't have to destroy their ships. We can disable them, capture them, and study them. Every battle makes us stronger while making them weaker. Captain Tae-ho checked his watch. We have 36 hours left before the deadline. What's the plan? Admiral Yeonji's expression became serious. We give them an answer they'll never forget. Jinwoo, you and Ambassador So-Ra will return to that conference room tomorrow. But this time, you won't be begging for mercy. The screen showed the positions of human ships around Harmony Station. The aliens thought the station was secure in neutral space, protected by their own fleets. They had no idea that human vessels had been watching them for weeks, invisible to alien sensors. Dr. Hyun-sik, Admiral Yeonji continued, activate the surveillance network. I want real-time data on every alien ship within 50 light years. Already done, the scientist replied. We've been tracking their movements since this conference began. The aliens have been positioning their fleets for a quick strike against Earth if the talks fail. They plan to hit us before we can organize a defense. Do-Yun laughed, but there was no humor in it. They still think we're using the same technology they gave us 50 years ago. They have no idea we've been upgrading everything in secret. Ambassador. So-Ra stood up and paced the small room. This could start a war that spreads across the entire galaxy. The war already started, Admiral Yeonji replied quietly. 20 years ago at Kepler. We just haven't been fighting back until now. Jinwoo nodded slowly. He had been a young soldier during the Kepler incident, helpless to save those colonists from alien bombardment. That failure had driven him to become both a better warrior and a better diplomat. Now, he had a chance to make sure no human would ever be that helpless again. What do you need from us? Jinwoo asked. Stay calm, stay professional, and remember that you're representing the strongest military force in human history, Admiral Yeonji replied. The aliens think they're negotiating with a weak species that will surrender when threatened. Tomorrow, they'll learn how wrong they've been. Dr. Hyun-sik checked his instruments one more time. All systems are ready. Every human ship is in position. The moment you give the signal, we can begin the demonstration. Do-Yun cracked his knuckles. I almost feel sorry for them. Almost. The connection ended, leaving the three humans alone in the small communication room. For several minutes, nobody spoke. The weight of what was about to happen pressed down on them like a physical force. Captain Tae-ho finally broke the silence. 20 years of preparation, thousands of people working in secret, all leading to tomorrow. Ambassador So-Ra smoothed her diplomatic robes. I've spent my career trying to avoid wars. Now I might be about to start the biggest one in galactic history. Jinwoo stood up and faced his companions. Or we might be about to end a war that's been going on for 20 years. The aliens have been fighting us since Kepler. They just haven't let us fight back. Tomorrow would change everything. The aliens expected humans to surrender or die. Instead, they were about to discover that humans had a third option. They could win. The conference hall felt different when the talks resumed. The alien representatives sat in their chairs with the confident air of predators who had cornered their prey. High Chancellor Vexinar drummed his long fingers on the table, barely hiding his satisfaction. The humans had spent their 48 hours, and now they would either surrender or be crushed. Jin Woo walked into the hall with the same calm expression he had worn 2 days earlier. Ambassador So-Ra followed him, her face showing no trace of fear or anxiety. Captain Tae-ho and his security team took their positions, but something was different about them. They moved with the quiet confidence of soldiers who knew backup was coming. "Commander Jin Woo," High Chancellor Vexinar said, his voice carrying the tone of someone addressing a defeated enemy. "I trust you have had sufficient time to consider our generous proposal." Jin Woo activated his personal data pad and connected it to the room's holographic display system. "We have indeed considered your proposal very carefully," he said. "In fact, we've prepared a response that we think you'll find interesting." The holographic projector came to life, but instead of showing human surrender documents, it displayed a detailed map of local space. Every star system within 50 light years appeared as a glowing dot, connected by the standard shipping lanes that all galactic commerce used. Ambassador So-Ra stood up, her diplomatic training taking over. "Before we respond to your kind offer, we thought you might be interested in seeing some recent intelligence we've gathered." The map zoomed in to show the Valdari home system. Red markers appeared around the central worlds, indicating the positions of their defensive fleets. More red markers showed patrol routes, supply convoys, and military installations. High Chancellor Vexinar leaned forward, his confident expression beginning to change. "What is the meaning of this display?" "Oh, we're just getting started," Jin Woo replied casually. The map shifted to show the Thexian trade networks, with detailed information about cargo routes, merchant vessel schedules, and the locations of their heavily defended commercial centers. Mordek's metal mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of distress among his species. "How did you obtain this classified information?" The display continued to shift, showing the military positions of every alien species represented at the conference. The Krex Empire's battle fleets, the Helix Consortium's research stations, even the secret bases that were supposed to be hidden from all outside observation. General Haktor's scales changed to a dark red color. "This is impossible. Our fleet movements are classified at the highest levels." Captain Tae-ho stepped forward slightly, his hand resting casually on his weapon. "Actually, General, your fleet movements have been quite easy to track. Your ships are not as stealthy as you think they are." The holographic display zoomed out again, showing the entire region of space around Harmony Station. Suddenly, new markers appeared on the map. Blue dots, representing human vessels, popped into view around every alien fleet position. The silence in the room was complete. 12 different alien species stared at a display that showed their most secret military positions being watched by human ships they had never detected. "Ambassador." So-Ra smiled politely. "We've been monitoring your activities for quite some time. Now, it's fascinating how predictable your patrol patterns have become." Dr. Yilnash moved all 4 arms in a gesture of shock. "This surveillance network would require hundreds of ships equipped with advanced stealth technology. Humans do not possess such capabilities." Jin Woo touched his data pad again. The display zoomed in on a single Valdari patrol fleet. As they watched, the alien ships continued their routine patrol, completely unaware that 3 human vessels were shadowing them at close range. "Actually, Dr. Yilnash, we possess quite a few capabilities that might surprise you," Jin Woo said. "For instance, did you know that your communication systems are incredibly easy to intercept?" The display showed intercepted alien messages, tactical plans, and intelligence reports. The aliens realized with growing horror that humans had been reading their most secret communications for months. High Chancellor Vexinar stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. "This is an act of war. Spying on sovereign military forces is a violation of galactic law." Ambassador So-Ra maintained her diplomatic smile. "Actually, Chancellor, we prefer to think of it as gathering intelligence necessary for our own defense, especially after we learned about your plans to attack Earth regardless of how these negotiations ended." The display showed the alien battle plan in perfect detail. Strike forces positioned to hit major human colonies, supply lines mapped for invasion support, and timetables for a coordinated assault that would crush human resistance in less than a month. "You see," Jinwoo continued, "we know that these peace talks were never intended to reach a peaceful solution. You decided months ago that humans needed to be destroyed or enslaved. This conference was just meant to provide legal justification for genocide." Mordek clicked his mandibles frantically. "Our defensive preparations were a reasonable precaution against human aggression." Captain Tejo laughed, the sound cold and humorless. "Defensive preparations that included detailed plans for occupying Earth and enslaving human survivors? Very defensive indeed." The holographic display shifted again, showing the current positions of alien fleets. Every ship that had been secretly moved into position for the planned attack was highlighted in red. The aliens had thought their preparations were invisible, but human intelligence had tracked every movement. "Now," Ambassador So-Ra said, her tone remaining perfectly diplomatic, "we'd like to present our counter-proposal to your kind offer." The display cleared, then showed a new image. It was a formal diplomatic document, written in the standard galactic treaty format. But the terms were very different from what the aliens had expected. First, So-Ra read, "Humanity respectfully declines to accept any restrictions on our expansion or development. We will continue to colonize any uninhabited systems we choose, using any technology we develop." General Haktor slammed his fist on the table. "Unacceptable! Humans cannot be allowed to spread unchecked across the galaxy." "Second," So-Ra continued calmly, "humanity demands an immediate end to all surveillance and interference in our internal affairs. This includes economic sanctions, technology restrictions, and military threats." High Chancellor Vexinar's skin began changing to a darker blue, a sign of extreme anger in his species. "You dare to make demands of us? You are one species against 12! Jinwoo stood up, his expression hardening. "Actually, Chancellor, let us show you exactly what one species can accomplish when pushed too far." The holographic display activated again, but this time it showed something that made every alien in the room freeze in terror. The blue dots representing human ships suddenly multiplied. Instead of the few dozen vessels the aliens had expected, hundreds of markers appeared across the map. "You thought humans had maybe 50 ships," Captain Tejo said. "You were wrong. We have 237 combat vessels currently in position, with more being built every day." Dr. Yilnash stared at the display with all four eyes wide. "This is impossible. Our intelligence reports showed minimal human military construction." "Your intelligence reports showed exactly what we wanted them to show," Jinwoo replied. "Humans are very good at misdirection when we need to be." The display zoomed in on several human ships. The aliens gasped as they saw vessels that looked nothing like the primitive copies of alien technology they had expected. These ships were sleek, advanced, and clearly built using principles that alien science had not discovered. Ambassador So-Ra activated another section of the display. "We've also made some improvements to our defensive systems. Would you like to see a demonstration?" Before any alien could respond, the display showed 3 human ships approaching a Valdari patrol. The alien vessels immediately raised shields and prepared weapons, but nothing happened. The human ships simply sat there, apparently defenseless. Then the Valdari ships suddenly went dark. Their weapons powered down, their shields collapsed, and their engines stopped working. But their life support remained active, keeping the crews alive and unharmed. How? High Chancellor Vexanar whispered. Dr. Hyun-Sik's face appeared on the communication screen. We learned to turn your own technology against you. Your shields, your weapons, your computers, they all have weaknesses that you never noticed because you've been using the same designs for centuries. The alien representatives sat in stunned silence. Everything they thought they knew about human capabilities was wrong. The species they had planned to crush was revealing military technology that surpassed their own in every category. This brings us to our third point, Ambassador So-Ra continued. Humanity is willing to share some of our technological advances with species that treat us as equals. We believe cooperation benefits everyone more than conflict. Mordek's voice was barely a whisper. You would share this technology? With friends and allies, yes, Jin Wu replied. With species that threaten us or try to enslave us, absolutely not. The display showed one final image, a new galactic map, with humans as equal partners rather than junior members. Trade routes, defense agreements, and research partnerships that could benefit everyone. The alien delegates filed out of the conference hall in shocked silence, their confident swagger replaced by nervous glances at each other. High Chancellor Vexanar moved with stiff dignity, but his blue skin had turned almost purple with rage and fear. Within minutes of leaving Harmony Station, emergency messages were flashing across alien communication networks. Admiral Yeon-ji watched the alien reactions from her command ship deep in space. Her tactical display showed 12 different alien fleets receiving urgent orders to attack human positions immediately. The aliens had decided that if they could not control humans through diplomacy, they would destroy them through force. All units, this is Admiral Yeon-ji, she broadcast on the quantum communication network. The aliens have rejected our offer. Operation Freedom begins now. Across 50 star systems, human ships that had been hiding in asteroid fields, behind moons, and in the empty darkness between stars suddenly came to life. Captains who had been waiting for months activated their new engines and began moving toward alien targets. Captain Jae-won commanded the human dreadnought Indomitable, the largest warship humanity had ever built. His ship looked like a peaceful cargo hauler from the outside, but underneath the fake outer hull was enough firepower to destroy an entire alien fleet. He had been trailing a Valdari task force for 3 weeks, studying their tactics and waiting for orders. Attention Valdari vessels, Captain Jae-won broadcast on standard military frequencies. This is the human ship Indomitable. You are ordered to power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. The Valdari fleet commander's response came back immediately, filled with arrogant laughter. Human ship, you are outnumbered 8-1. Surrender now, or be destroyed. Captain Jae-won sighed. I tried to be polite. He activated his ship's real systems. The fake cargo hull split apart and fell away, revealing the Indomitable's true form. Weapon ports opened along its sides, shield generators hummed to life, and its new antimatter engines pushed it forward at speeds that made the Valdari ships look like they were standing still. The alien commander's laughter died as his sensors registered energy readings that should have been impossible. What kind of ship is that? The kind that your intelligence services missed, Captain Jae-won replied. His weapons officer, Lieutenant Commander Mi Young, was already locking onto the alien vessels. Firing solution ready, Captain, Mi Young reported. Should I disable their weapons? First? No need, Jae-won replied. Use the new disruption field. Let's show them what human engineering can do. The Indomitable fired a single pulse of energy that washed over the Valdari fleet like a gentle wave. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then every alien ship suddenly went dead in space. Their weapons powered down, their shields collapsed, and their engines stopped working. But their life support systems continued to function perfectly, keeping every alien crew member alive and unharmed. On the Valdari flagship, Admiral Kexthol stared at his control panels in horror. Every system showed red warning lights, but his crew was breathing normally and the artificial gravity still worked. "How is this possible?" he whispered. Captain J. Wan's voice came over the communication system, calm and professional. "Your ships are equipped with standard Valdari technology that's been in use for over 200 years. We've had plenty of time to study it and find its weaknesses. Your weapons, shields, and engines all depend on the same basic power distribution network. We just convinced that network to stop feeding power to military systems." Similar scenes were playing out across the galaxy as human ships revealed themselves to alien fleets that had thought they were hunting helpless prey. The Thexian merchant marine found their trade convoys surrounded by human vessels that had been following them for weeks. Krek's battle groups discovered that their most secret patrol routes were under constant human observation. General Su Bin coordinated the human response from a hidden command center built inside a hollowed-out asteroid. Her screens showed the positions of every human and alien ship in local space, updated in real time through the quantum communication network. "Report from Sector 7, her aide announced. "Captain Park's squadron has disabled 3 Krek's destroyers, without casualties on either side. Sector 12 reports similar success," another officer added. "The Helix research fleet surrendered as soon as they realized they were surrounded." General Su Bin nodded with satisfaction. The human strategy was working perfectly. Instead of destroying alien ships, they were capturing them intact. Every vessel they took meant more alien technology to study and more proof that humans could win without committing genocide. Chief Engineer Dong Min monitored the technical aspects of the operation from his secret facility. His new adaptive defense systems were performing better than expected, turning alien weapons into harmless light shows. "The Valdari are trying to modify their weapon frequencies," one of his technicians reported. "Let them try," Dong Min replied. "Our systems adapt faster than they can change. Every modification they make just teaches us more about their technology." Back on Harmony Station, the alien delegates were receiving increasingly desperate reports from their military commanders. Their carefully planned surprise attack was falling apart as human ships appeared from nowhere and neutralized their fleets without firing a shot. High Chancellor Vexinar paced back and forth in his private quarters, his skin cycling through different shades of blue and purple as his emotions shifted between rage and fear. "Sir," his aide reported nervously, "Admiral Kexthul reports that his entire fleet has been disabled. The humans are boarding his ships, but they're not harming anyone. They're just studying everything. Mordek was having his own crisis." His communication channels were flooded with reports from Thexian merchants whose cargo ships had been stopped by human vessels. But instead of being robbed or destroyed, the merchants were being offered better trade deals than they had ever seen. "The humans are offering to buy our entire cargo at twice the standard rate," one merchant captain reported. "They say they want to establish new trade partnerships based on mutual benefit rather than exploitation." Dr. Yilnash was perhaps the most disturbed by the reports she was receiving. The Helix Consortium prided itself on being the most scientifically advanced species in the galaxy, but human technology was making their greatest achievements look primitive. "Their ships are using principles we never discovered," her research director reported. "Their computers process information faster than our best AIs. Their engines generate more power than should be physically possible. It's like they're using completely different laws of physics." General Haktor was the only alien leader who seemed pleased by the reports, but for all the wrong reasons. "Finally, a species worthy of fighting," he growled. "The Krek's empire accepts this challenge." His enthusiasm faded when his military advisors explained the tactical situation. "Sir, our fleets are not being destroyed. They're being captured. The humans are taking our ships intact, along with our crews. If this continues, we'll run out of vessels to fight with. Back on the command ship, Admiral Yeon-ji watched the battle unfold with professional satisfaction. Every phase of the human plan was working exactly as designed. Status report, she requested. 87 alien vessels disabled and under human control, her tactical officer reported. 0 human casualties. Alien casualties are also minimal, mostly bruised egos and wounded pride. Lieutenant Colonel Sung Ho, the intelligence officer, added his own report. We're intercepting alien communications across all channels. They're confused, frightened, and completely unprepared for this level of human technological advancement. Admiral Yeon-ji nodded. What about their attempts to call for reinforcements? Every alien fleet that tries to move toward human territory finds itself being shadowed by our ships, Sung Ho replied. They can't make any aggressive moves without us knowing about them hours in advance. The quantum communication system activated, showing Jin Woo's face from Harmony Station. Admiral, the alien delegates are demanding to speak with human leadership. They want to know what our terms are for ending this conflict. Tell them our terms haven't changed, Admiral Yeon-ji replied. They can accept humans as equals and work with us as partners, or they can keep fighting a war they cannot win. What if they choose to escalate? Jin Woo asked. Some of these species have weapons that could destroy entire planets. Admiral Yeon-ji's expression hardened. Then they'll discover that humans have been preparing for that possibility too. Project Aegis is ready to deploy if necessary. Jin Woo's eyes widened slightly. Project Aegis was the most classified human defense program known only to a handful of people. If the aliens forced humanity to reveal those capabilities, the balance of galactic power would shift permanently. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Jin Woo said. Indeed, Admiral Yeon-ji agreed. But if it does, the aliens will learn the most important lesson about humans. We never start fights, but we always finish them. Across the galaxy, alien commanders were learning that lesson the hard way. The species they had planned to enslave was demonstrating military capabilities that exceeded their own by decades or centuries. Every attempt to fight back only revealed more advanced human technology and better human tactics. 3 days after Operation Freedom began, the alien delegates returned to the conference hall on Harmony Station. But this time, they came as petitioners rather than masters. Their proud uniforms looked wrinkled. Their confident expressions had been replaced by uncertainty, and none of them met the humans' eyes when they entered the room. President Kyung-soo appeared on the main holographic display, broadcasting from Earth via quantum link. His presence transformed the meeting from a simple negotiation into a formal diplomatic conference between sovereign powers. For the first time in galactic history, humans were speaking to aliens as equals. Ambassador So-Ra took her seat at the circular table, but now the other chairs seemed smaller and less impressive. The psychological advantage had shifted completely. Where once the aliens had tried to make humans feel inferior, now they found themselves wondering if they were worthy of human attention. Ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished beings, President Kyung-soo began, his voice carrying the authority of someone who represented 4 billion humans across 43 star systems. We gather today to discuss the future of human-alien relations in our galaxy. High Chancellor Vexinar spoke first, but his voice lacked its earlier arrogance. President Kyung-soo, the Valdari Empire acknowledges that we may have misjudged human capabilities. We are prepared to discuss more reasonable arrangements. Jin Woo almost smiled at the Chancellor's careful word choice. 3 days earlier, Vexinar had been threatening humanity with destruction. Now he was asking for reasonable arrangements, after losing half his fleet to human capture operations. Dr. Yilnash moved all 4 arms in a gesture of scientific curiosity mixed with respect. From a research perspective, human technological advancement has exceeded all theoretical models. The Helix Consortium would be honored to establish cooperative scientific programs with your species. Ambassador So-Ra nodded politely. We appreciate your interest, Dr. Yilnash. Humanity has always believed that scientific knowledge grows faster when it is shared rather than hoarded. Mordek clicked his mandibles in what humans had learned was a sign of agreement among Thexians. The trade union recognizes that human commercial practices offer advantages we had not considered. We would like to discuss new partnership opportunities. President Kyung-Soo's image leaned forward slightly. We're pleased to hear this change in attitude. But before we discuss partnerships, we need to address what happened 3 days ago. The holographic display activated, showing the current positions of alien and human fleets across local space. Red markers indicated the 87 alien ships that were currently under human control, their crews unharmed, but their vessels completely disabled. Your species attempted to launch a coordinated military strike against human colonies, President Kyung-Soo continued. Innocent civilians would have died if we had not defended ourselves. This cannot be ignored or forgotten. General, Haktor shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Of all the aliens, he was having the hardest time accepting the new reality. The Krex Empire had built its entire culture around military strength, and that strength had proven useless against human technology. The Krex Empire acted in what we believed was self-defense, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Captain Tae-ho, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. General, we have recordings of your military planning sessions. You discussed enslaving human survivors and using our colonies as forced labor camps. That was not self-defense. The evidence was undeniable. Human intelligence had intercepted alien communications for months, documenting every plan for human subjugation or extinction. The aliens could not deny their intentions, so they had to accept the consequences. However, Ambassador So-Ra said, her diplomatic training taking over. Humanity believes in the possibility of redemption. Species can change, learn from their mistakes, and choose better paths forward. President Kyung-Soo nodded approvingly. We offer the following terms for a new galactic order. First, all captured alien vessels will be returned to their owners, along with complete technical specifications for the human systems used to disable them. This technology will allow you to defend against similar attacks in the future. The aliens exchanged surprised glances. They had expected demands for tribute, territorial concessions, or political subjugation. Instead, humans were offering to share the very technology that had defeated them. Second, the president continued, humanity proposes the establishment of a new galactic confederation based on equal representation rather than ancient hierarchies. Every species gets one vote, regardless of age, size, or military power. High Chancellor Vexenar's skin changed to a lighter blue, indicating surprise and consideration. Equal representation would fundamentally change galactic governance. The Valdari Empire has led the Confederation for over 1,000 years. And in that 1,000 years, Jin Wu replied, how much real progress has been made? How many conflicts have been resolved? How many younger species have been given the chance to contribute their ideas and innovations? The aliens had no good answer. Their leadership had maintained stability, but it had also created stagnation. Technological advancement had slowed to a crawl, and social progress had virtually stopped. Dr. Yilnash spoke up, her scientific mind grasping the implications immediately. Equal representation would allow for unprecedented collaboration between different species approaches to problem-solving. The potential for advancement would be enormous. Third, President Kyung-Soo continued, humanity proposes the establishment of joint research programs, shared defense agreements, and open trade partnerships. Instead of competing against each other, we work together toward common goals. Mordek's mandibles clicked rapidly as he processed the economic implications. Open trade would eliminate the artificial scarcities that have kept prices high for centuries, but it would also eliminate many traditional profit margins. True, Ambassador So-Ra agreed, but it would also create new markets, new opportunities, and new sources of wealth that benefit everyone rather than just a few powerful merchants. The quantum communication system activated, and Admiral Yan Ji's face appeared alongside President Kyung-soo. "I want to address the military aspects of this new arrangement," she said. "Humanity has no interest in conquering or controlling other species, but we will never again allow anyone to threaten human colonies or civilians." General Hector leaned forward, his scales shifting to a more respectful orange color. "Admiral, your forces demonstrated capabilities that exceed our own by significant margins. How can the Confederation maintain military balance with such disparities in technology?" "By focusing on defense rather than offense," Admiral Yeon-ji replied. "Human military technology is designed to protect, disable, and capture rather than destroy. We share these defensive capabilities with allies, creating a galaxy where warfare becomes impractical rather than impossible." The holographic display showed a new type of star map, one where trade routes connected species in networks of mutual benefit rather than exploitation. Defense agreements created overlapping zones of protection that made aggression by any single species futile. "This is the galaxy we're proposing," President Kyung-soo explained. "Not one ruled by fear and dominated by the strongest, but one guided by cooperation and elevated by the best ideas from every member species." High Chancellor Vexinar was quiet for several minutes, his skin cycling through different shades as he considered the implications. Finally, he spoke. "The Valdari Empire accepts these terms," he said. "We also formally apologize for our attempts to restrict human development. We acted out of fear rather than wisdom." Dr. Yilnash immediately followed. "The Helix Consortium eagerly accepts. The scientific possibilities alone make this arrangement invaluable." Mordek clicked his agreement. "The Thexian Union accepts. Open trade will require significant adjustments, but the long-term benefits are obvious." One by one, the other alien species added their acceptance. Even General Hector, after a long internal struggle, agreed that the Krex Empire would join the new confederation. Ambassador So-Ra stood up, her face showing the satisfaction of a diplomat who had achieved something truly historic. "Then let us draft the charter for the new Galactic Confederation, a document that recognizes the equality and sovereignty of all member species." Over the next several hours, the representatives worked together to create a framework for galactic governance, unlike anything that had existed before. Humans contributed ideas about democratic representation and individual rights. Aliens shared their experience with interstellar administration and resource management. As the sun set on Harmony Station, President Kyung-soo delivered the closing address to the new Confederation Assembly. "Today marks the end of an age where might made right and fear drove policy," he said. "Today begins an age where cooperation creates strength and shared knowledge drives progress." The holographic display showed the galaxy as it could become, connected by bonds of friendship rather than chains of domination, protected by mutual defense rather than mutual destruction, and enriched by the combined talents of dozens of species, working together. "Humanity came to these talks prepared for war," President Kyung-soo continued, "but hoping for peace. We're grateful that wisdom prevailed.